Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
Great Scott! There's no crying in baseball!
You better hold on tight, Spider Monkey.
This is where the fun begins.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. That's right. We're ranking The Amateur. The Amateur is a 2025 American vigilante spy action film based on the 1981 novel The Amateur by Robert Littell, which also has a 1981 Canadian film based on the novel as well. In the film, CIA cryptographer Charlie Heller embarks on a global quest for vengeance after his wife is killed in a London terrorist attack, transforming from a desk-bound analyst into a determined vigilante when his superiors refuse to act. Honestly, I thought there was things in this movie I enjoyed. There were some parts of it I did not. Let's get into it with the 10 essential aspects of the movie. First is plot. Does the movie follow a comprehensive story arc and is plausible within the world that has been created? The interesting spin to this is the whole fact that he is an amateur, that he is a desk person. He is not somebody that is meant to kill. He can't be an on-field agent. I like that. I thought it was what made this movie compelling to watch. What made it different and a little bit interesting from other movies. However, I thought they just didn't utilize that concept enough. The best parts of this movie are when he has to use his intelligence. The thing that sets him apart from others. He thinks differently. He thinks in security through technology. He has a different way of approaching villains. That's what makes the movie interesting. However, they just did it so little. There's a lot of this movie that is honestly him not utilizing what makes him special, what makes the movie unique, and they go to a formula that is just kind of typical of an action movie. I thought the movie had much more potential if they would have just stuck to that concept. Second is attraction. Does the movie have an interesting premise with a high entertainment value? If you like some action, CIA, thriller kind of movies, I think you will like this movie. It does have that little twist of him not being a killer, but that doesn't mean he doesn't kill people. And the way they handle some of the action is good. I wish there was more of it, but if you enjoy those kind of movies, I think you will enjoy this one as well. It is also ultimately still a revenge story, so if you're somebody that is into a justified revenge story, then you'll like this movie as well. Third is theme. What message or truth is the movie trying to convey? Fairly obvious. It doesn't get too deep here. It's just about using your talents to your advantage. Just because you are not like somebody else who is good at something doesn't mean you can't be good at it in your own way. And that's what he does throughout this movie. He uses his intellect, what makes him a little different, his advantage in technology to outsmart people that don't understand his world. It's just about unlocking your potential and knowing that you don't have to be like everyone else to be great. Fourth is dialogue. Is there a real feel to the conversations? The dialogue it's all right. It's not too good. It's not too bad. There's nothing here that feels out of place, that doesn't feel like how a character should talk, but there isn't any conversations that are drawing you in. I do feel there was the potential, the writing was good enough that there could have been some conversations that had some interesting subject to them. However, most of the time, whatever they're talking about, wherever the conversation leads to, is honestly just not that interesting. Fifth is acting. Are the characters convincing? Now, Rami Malek as Charles, main guy in this movie, perfect casting. The dude is great for the role. He has this unique look about him. Very skinny, has this crazy looking jawbone. He just has this look and it is perfect for this movie. He fits the character so well, but he is honestly also a really good actor. He's the only one that brings any sort of emotion into this movie. The times where he has to be sad, where he needs to show that he is, just distraught by the fact that he has lost his wife, it's convincing. It's really well done. He's just a tremendous actor and he fit this role perfectly. The only person I didn't like was Lawrence Fishburne as Henderson. It just didn't fit the character that well, but honestly, I just think the character itself was really poorly written. When he's in this movie, he's honestly very useless. In the beginning, he has a role and he fits that role. It makes sense. But after that, after his 5 minutes of screen time, They do not need him. If you cut him out from the rest of the movie, you honestly would get the exact same movie. He just didn't really fit. He felt like a forced person in there, and I don't know if he necessarily elevated the character in any sort of way to make it better. 6 is cinematography. Is there a creative use of lighting, setting, and wardrobe to convey emotion? Really, what needed to be important to this movie as far as cinema goes is the action. I mean, it needed some good action, and I thought it was decent. When the movie is being creative, when he has to be creative as a character and uses its premise of him not being a killer and happen to find ways around that, the movie's really good. The cinematography's good. The action, the fighting, it just makes sense and it looks really good. It also takes place in many different places in the world. I thought that was an excellent choice. Definitely helps give a scale to the movie. He is going all over the place, makes it feel like what is going on is ultimately very important. It does have some pleasing places that it goes to look at, and it also just changes up the setting, helps that out a little bit. Now, emotion, there's really not any emotion to be had in this movie other than Rami Malek's just performance. He does a good job making you feel bad for him because he just doesn't, he's so convincingly upset at the fact that he's lost his wife. But outside of that, there's just, the movie isn't good enough for you to grip any of the characters, and there's no moments that really are pushing for you to be emotional in the movie, so it's not that emotional. 7th is editing. This is all about the pace of the movie. The movie is 2 hours and 5 minutes long, and it was just too long for the story. It could have been okay if, again, they would have just done a better job of fleshing out the interesting parts of this movie, him using his intelligence, just having more scenes with that, but they just didn't. So it was a lot of just extra stuff I didn't care to see. I think this movie could have been an hour and 45 minutes and have been better. 8th is soundtrack. The music in this movie is exactly what every music in these kind of movies are. It's just, there's nothing special about it. It does what it needs to do. Nothing to point out. 9th is directing. Now I feel the director is in charge of the previous 8 aspects. They're the ones that have to put it all together, give it their stamp of approval, and make a good movie. Now, the director of this movie is James Hawes, and this was his 2nd movie. The 2 films that he has directed so far are One Life and The Amateur. It's only his 2nd movie. I don't critique directors that much until I feel like I need at least 3 movies under the belt. This is the only movie I've seen of his. It's only his 2nd movie. There was parts of this movie that were good, that could have been great. And there's others that just honestly fell a little flat, were a little boring. I just think the director needs to be just a little more brave. Just go out there and make a movie that just go out of your way a little bit to make it unique. It had a unique premise. Just go all in on that rather than going somewhat in and then falling to very typical action thrillers. Just dive into what makes your movie interesting. That's why people are in the seats, because they thought the story was interesting. Just dive into that a little more. I would have liked to have seen him do that, but we'll be curious to see what else he does. 10th is time. Will it stand the test of time? Unfortunately, I do not think it will. Purely off of execution. I think it had the idea behind it, had the plot behind it to make it unique and interesting enough to somewhat stand out against all these other movies that are thriller, spy, CIA kind of movies. This one just didn't execute well enough. It didn't dive into that plot line enough to be unique, and it doesn't execute on all the small levels enough for it to stand out. I just think there's better movies out there for this kind of genre. Now for the review section. Rotten Tomatoes critics gives it a 61. The audience gives it an 89. And IMDb gives it a 67. Surprisingly, I guess people liked it more than I thought with an 89. That seems very high to me. It's a decent movie, but that just seems entirely too high. It didn't execute well enough for me to be that entertaining or that memorable. I am much more in the 67 area. I think 67 is right a little low where this movie belongs. However, I can see a 67. I just think compared to all movies ever, it definitely would land in like the 73 area for me. It's a decent movie. I liked some parts about it, but there was a lot of it that honestly was just a little boring. Finally, for the rankings. For the year of 2025, out of 15 total movies on the entertainment side, it is going to be 10th, just below Last Breath and above Captain America Brave New World. I have it below Last Breath, just a personal preference. These are movies that honestly I would not watch again, wouldn't choose to watch it. But Last Breath, I just thought the true story aspect is a little more interesting. It helped keep me entertained while watching the movie because I was consistently thinking, wow, I can't believe a real person went through this experience. It's just something that captivated me a little bit better than what The Amateur was able to do. I do have it above Captain America Brave New World, and that's because I wasn't necessarily bothered by the movie. I was hoping it would do better in certain parts, and it just didn't, but it didn't necessarily bother me. Captain America Brave New World has several parts that I just did not enjoy, that made me upset because it just wasn't that well executed of a movie. Now, cinematically, out of 15 total movies, I have it 9th, just below The Damned and above Novocaine. Now, I've got it below The Damned. The Damned and The Amateur, honestly, both fit into this area where they just went into stereotypical things within their genres that I did not like. I thought they both had ideas that could have made them much better and they didn't execute on them. However, what The Damned executed on, I just thought was better than what The Amateur did. But honestly, they're very similar movies that were just disappointing overall. I do have it above Novocaine. That is also a movie that was unique, but didn't really do anything excellent. I just thought the tone of The Amateur was more cinematic. It just had some serious tones in there. When he has to deal with the fact that his wife is dead, it's a serious moment in which the acting is done really well. Novocaine is just more of an entertaining movie that just happened to be unique in its plot, where The Amateur is also unique, but it just executes a little better and with a little more seriousness. For the decade of the 2020s, out of 51 total movies on the entertainment side, it is going to be 37th, just below Last Breath and above Captain America Brave New World. It's there for the exact same reasons as before. Cinematically, out of 51 total movies, it is going to be 35th, just below The Damned and above Novocaine. Again, it's there for the exact same reasons as before. Now, all time, out of 65 total movies on the entertainment side, it is going to be 50th. Just below Last Breath and above Captain America Brave New World. Yeah, it's there for the exact same reasons before. Unfortunately, I do so many movies in the 2020s that they just kind of get jumbled together. I got to get back on that train of doing some older movies. Cinematically, out of 65 total movies, it is going to be 48th, just below The Damned and above Novocaine. Again, it's there for the exact same reasons as before. That's all I've got for The Amateur. It was surprising to me. I didn't think I was really going to enjoy it all that much, but it had aspects to it that I did enjoy, but I just felt like it fell short. Make sure you comment your opinion. I want to know what you guys think. Was it as good as you wanted it to be, or did it fall short for you as well? If you are interested in somebody who does the same format as me, then go check out my best friend Bosso Movie Reviews. He does the same thing where he compares movies in the same year, decade, and all time, except he has a bigger list. He's done a lot older movies, and he also does TV shows now, which I think is interesting, and he also does one concise list, which I think some people would like better. But otherwise, make sure that you comment what movie you want me to review next and subscribe so that you can see me review that movie. But otherwise, I'm Mr. Majoritarian. Stay classy, San Diego.